Hello, welcome to Navigating to Success. I'm Jeff Carlton, Certified Focal Point Business and Executive Coach, and I'm pleased to have joining me today Eric Hayes from Rocky Mountain Reclamation, a really neat company doing really neat things based out of Laramie, Wyoming. So, welcome, Eric.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So, tell us your story about. Tell us what Rocky Mountain Reclamation does.
Yeah, so Rocky Mountain Reclamation's been around for a long time. Company was founded in 1979, which happens to also be the year of my birth. Obviously, I'm not the founder. And we work from Mexico to Montana, all through the Rocky Mountain states. Do 60 to 100 projects a year in revegetation, seeding, erosion control, noxious weed control, wetland mitigation, those types of environmental services coming into green energy projects, mines, highways, um, ranches, national park. We do several jobs in Yellowstone and just after the dirt work is done, we come in and restore the native ecosystems is our goal.
Okay, so you don't actually do the like that, like if there's a fuel spill or something like that, you don't actually move the dirt um, to reclaim the land and get rid of the hazmat. You come
If
in after that's done.
Yeah, typically if it is a small item like contaminated soils, then yes, we may do everything. But traditionally, I always say we don't have yellow iron, we have green iron, and our green irons are John Deere tractors, which is what our fleet is based around. We also do hydroseeding and things like that, but really the larger the project is, the better it is for us. 1,000+ acres with large tractors, large implements.
Right. Okay, very cool. How big is the company now? How many employees?
Yeah, so we have about 20 employees. We'll do 8 million or so in revenue this year. So we're pretty good
Wow.
sized, pretty good sized firm.
Yeah. No. No, that's impressive for a smaller company. Is it? So it's not an industry that people talk about a lot. I mean, we know it's there. Do you feel like it's a competitive market, or do you feel like you've kind of got a niche in
Now
the market?
there's definitely it's competitive for sure, especially when you get into more of the governmental and publicly funded spaces. We have a lot of long-term relationships with mines and the like, and have a exceptional safety record where then companies of the Exxon and BP and companies that really value safety in their subcontractors and their vendors, then they come to us because they know we not only have the industry experience, but we have a outstanding safety record as well.
And that's important. And that's a so we'll kind of go down that road a little bit. Well, let's do it right now. When you talk about safety, how much does the corporate or the company culture play into fostering and maintaining that safety record?
It's where it all starts, and we talk about it often with our employees. You know that our first goal is that you, as a team member of Rocky Mountain Reclamation, that you go home in the same condition every day that you came to work. Safe, nobody gets hurt. We spend a lot of time on the road. We do all our own oversized load hauling. So our highest risk activity is our driving. Um, we do
Right.
hundreds of thousands of miles per year in between job sites with multiple crews. So that's our highest risk item. The employees understand that, we work in the Rocky Mountains. If it's snowing and the roads are bad, we park. We're
Yeah.
not going to push it. And then the employees also understand that our clients value our team members' safety on their site, and also the impact that an injury has uh, on the company from a business aspect at all, which then trickles down to the employees' welfare as financial welfare as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's interesting. You said you do you haul all your own oversized loads, all your equipment and everything. So everything is organic um,
Mm.
within the company. You're not outsourcing. Um, and I personally know just how spotty I-80 gets.
Yeah.
in central southern Wyoming. It's yeah, it can be daunting to say the least. So having said that, you your projects, your teams, and probably yourself spend a lot of time away from home. Is that a significant challenge for you for retention? And
It is. It is. So we, there's 5 months, 6 months out of the year where you're going to be on the road for 2 or 3 weeks, be able to come back home, grab a day or two here in Laramie. All our employees actually are Laramie based. Um, but yeah, we spend a lot of time on the road. There's a definite demarcation in our employee group. We have our foremen that have all been here 9+ years, some of them as much as 23, 24 years for two guys. And then we have a group of younger gentlemen that pretty much in 2 or 3 years, you figure out whether or not this is going to be a lifestyle in an industry that works for you. And so if you kind of make it past that 3 year mark, you're here for a great career. But there's a lot of guys that have to choose due to family circumstances or whatever
right.
to find something else.
Well, and being a former military guy and having spent in some years as much as 75% of my time deployed away from home, I know how hard that is for a young family. So hats off to you for having the retention that you do. What do you personally and and for your team try to help them manage that work lifestyle? Is there anything special that you do?
Yeah. Yeah. So we do a couple things. One is we make sure guys get home. Um, and so, we try not to keep anybody on the road for more than 3 weeks at a time. We also have paid time off, which isn't necessarily common in the blue collar space.
Yeah.
A- and so, and also, we have a company culture that when we're on the road, we're there to work, and we're seasonal. We are year round as far as our employees, but our work is seasonal. And the shop in the wintertime is maintenance time. Uh, but when we're on the road, we're there to work and to make money both for the company and for the employees. And sometimes guys can get that a little out of whack in their personal life, that they know, hey, it's October. I'm not coming back home. This is when I make all my money. And so we've put PTO in place to try and encourage those guys to recognize when they need to take a break, when they need to come back home, and help the employee manage that some, not just leaving it solely up to them.
Yeah, I think that's very wise, and I think that's something that people can take with them is that sometimes you have to point out when it's time to take a knee because if they're not happy at home, then they're not going to be happy in the workplace, um,
Absolutely.
and that'll affect the team. So kudos to you for recognize that and implementing it. Um, so it's an interesting and not a common industry that you're in. Tell me how technology has changed what you do.
Well, there it's not
If
near
at
the
all.
yeah, it's not near the impact in our industry as in others. Even sure we run top of the line equipment, and so you have all the telematics and GPS tracking and items like that, and for help you with reporting. Um, a lot of our items are more agricultural based, which there's been huge technology leaps and bounds in the
That's kind of
trade.
where I was going with it. Is
Yeah,
pretty agrarian society up here, and seeing some of the like, some of these guys just they don't even touch the steering wheel. They sit in the cab and make sure nothing goes wrong, and drink coffee and listen to country music all
yeah.
day. So
make
wondering,
TikTok make TikTok videos from the tractor seat, right? But that's not us. While our equipment looks the same, we operate on a lot of very rugged job sites, very steep terrain. Um, our work, our seeding work, it is important that we go cross contour, or we follow the contour cross the slope, and that doesn't work for plugging it into a GPS. Even like outlining a project, saying fill in all the gaps, which you can do in the ag. You can go around the edge of the field, then just turn on the GPS, and that doesn't work in our world. So the technology hasn't impacted us a lot in that way. There's lots of things we can do with drones and GIS and
I was
mapping.
gonna
Yeah.
ask about drones and how that might play in for you.
Yeah, so we're that's an area we're looking to expand into, to offer services with drones more in the application. There's plenty of people out there that can buy a $6,000-7,000 drone that can do video and mapping. We're more into the application service where these are large payload carrying drones, and
Right.
that's an area we're looking into.
Yeah, we're seeing some. I think that is really going to take off. That's something. Get in early on that because I'm seeing some exciting stuff out on LinkedIn and in the media about what they're going to do next with drones. They're going to put the crop duster out of business,
Yeah.
they're not going to put them out of business. They're going to change how crop dusting goes potentially. Um, so what does Rocky Mountain Reclamation look like in 12 or 36 months? What's your strategic plan right now? Are you in sustain or are you in grow mode?
No, we're in grow mode. 15% up from last year or so is where we're at going to be for this year. Then, probably we'll just keep pedal to the metal till we hit that 10 million revenue mark, and maintain our profitability percentages at that. And then at that, we'll, I'll look at I'm developing some people. We'll look at putting a general manager in place in the company then, and then we'll probably start looking down the acquisition line.
Right. Any any thoughts about expanding locations so that the work wasn't in seasonal, having something that was further south?
Yeah, so that is definitely an area. We work in New Mexico and Arizona currently. In fact, we have six or so people in New Mexico right now. But yeah, expanding into those southern markets is definitely a goal for us to try and smooth out the revenue lumpiness of seasonal business.
Right. And that is a respectable challenge, and having grown up in that environment down there, I understand the seasonal of of almost all the blue collar industry um, in all of the Intermountain and Plains region in a lot of cases. So having said that, your plans for expansion, 15% growth over the last 12 months, are you hiring and what kind of skill sets are you looking for?
Yeah, we are always looking to add to our team because our skill sets are pretty varied. So an ideal candidate has a CDL because we haul all our own equipment. We work on remote job sites, so we haul our equipment to the job site. We operate our equipment when we get there. We go with one semi tractor trailer and then one service truck also pulling a large gooseneck. And then once we're there, if equipment breaks down, we have to be able to fix it. And so you need ideal candidate, can drive truck, operate equipment, wrench on their own equipment, fix it, right? And then we have some jobs that have some labor scattered in, mainly just if a client asks for it or prefers it. We don't do a lot of labor jobs, but we do some. So, and then come wintertime, we maintain and repair all of our equipment. Most of our equipment is, off the shelf from a manufacturer, but then highly customized and modified and strengthened because of the rough terrain we work in.
Right. Yeah, an interesting challenge for sure. Um, let's go back to when you started, 1979. Um, you obviously you weren't the founder of the company. You came on board. Did you come on board as the CEO or did you work your way up into it?
So Ron Schreibeis, kind of an industry legend, started the company in 1979. My background is in the heavy civil construction industry, mega projects. So I worked everywhere from Reno, Nevada to Washington, D.C., projects up to $1 billion in revenue. And I was the executive or leader on those projects. I then did the entrepreneur through acquisition route. So I decided, I grew up in a family business, decided it was time to leave the employee lifestyle and become an owner, and started seeking out businesses to buy that fit my background. I'm from an ag family in Southern Illinois originally, then the large construction. This business happens to be a perfect marriage of ag and construction, fit me well. And yeah, so did the things needed to acquire the company
And how long ago did you acquire?
about 18 months ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is um, well, it's not new to you, but it's new, and you're in the first year. You're still experiencing growth, and you're having great revenue, and you're turning 8 million and looking to turn 10 in the next year. You're obviously doing something right. Um, Go ahead.
Yeah, there's definitely a period after an acquisition to stabilize the company. There's a
Yeah,
lot. It's it feels like turmoil to a lot of people. It's not turmoil, it's just change. But to a lot of people, there's no difference in between turmoil and change.
yeah. Change
it,
is super scary.
yeah, yeah. So the first 8 months were definitely tough. Um, Employees learning me learning them, building that trust. But I think we're in a really good spot now.
Yeah, and I think the key word there is trust. And that is so much. And it's a two-way street. So I appreciate that you put that in the equation as well. Any words of wisdom for aspiring entrepreneurs or business owners out there? What one nugget of what you would or wouldn't do if you had to do it over again.
Well, coming from a very large, successful, structured contractor, one of the largest ones in the US. And then the owner of that company, Matt Walsh, he had a saying that knowing your cost is a condition of employment. And then a lot of times in smaller operations, those costs aren't always tracked as tight. But I would say just know your cost. There shouldn't be any guessing. It's a business. You know what your revenues are, you know what your expenditures are. Well, you should know all those things. The data is there for you to know all those things. So if you feel like you're flying by the seat of your pants, you need to step back and get some processes and some things lined out so you're not.
And that is actually one of the key things that I do as a coach is I teach people how to spell KPI, key performance indicators. Yeah, a lot of people don't. You don't. I'm shocked at how many people don't track those numbers and those things like
Mm-hmm.
that. So definitely appreciate that. Well, that brings us to about to our time for today. Any parting shots before we wrap it up, Eric?
But just if anyone can reach out to me, LinkedIn's the best place to find me. Just Eric Hayes, EricHayes, and um, we're looking for employees. We're looking for opportunities as far as our work, and we're also looking for other um, companies and business owners that maybe are reaching that retirement age and want to see their family legacy, family company continued on. I mean, that's what we've successfully done here. So,
Fantastic. Well,
yeah.
Eric, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I think anybody that watches this will get some good takeaways from it.
Well, thank you for having me, Jeff.
And for everybody that tuned in and happened to catch this video, thanks for watching Navigating to Success. If I can ever help you or anybody you know, please reach out to me, Jeff Carlton or Coach Jeff on YouTube. Everybody take care, be well, and we'll see you next time.